Hey. I just spent the last 24 hours dissecting Tesla's Q4 2025 earnings call, and I've pulled out every single operating principle that matters for anyone in business or building a company. And let me tell you, this is not your typical earnings call. This is Elon Musk announcing the biggest bet in Tesla's history. Maybe the biggest bet in American manufacturing history. The core idea here, well, it's vertical integration driven by paranoia. Elon is building batteries, lithium refineries, cathode plants, AI chips, memory fabs, solar cells, humanoid robots, and autonomous vehicles all at the same time. Why? Because he looked at the supply chain. He looked at the geopolitical risk and he said, if I don't build this myself, some black swan event is going to wipe us out. And this is Andy Grove's Only the Paranoid Survive on steroids. So there's a line in this call that explains Elon's entire strategy for the next decade. He says, we build things out of desperation, not because we want to. Nobody else is building lithium refineries and cathode refineries. We're pretty much the only lithium refinery and cathode refinery in America. We're making moves to make sure that no matter what happens, Tesla will prosper. That sentence right there, out of desperation, that's the filter. Elon is not empire building for ego. He's watching the chessboard 10 moves ahead and seeing supply chain catastrophe, geopolitical chaos, and he's saying, I have no choice but to own the entire stack. Keep that phrase in your head. Out of desperation, not because we want to. So, there's a mission pivot from sustainability to abundance. So Elon opens the call by announcing Tesla's new mission, amazing abundance. Not accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, not make electric cars. Amazing abundance. He says, we're headed to a future of universal high income, not universal basic income, but universal high income. With AI and robotics, everyone can have whatever they want, including amazing medical care, while keeping the beauty of nature and earth. Now, most people hear this and think it's fluff. It's not. This is a positioning statement for investors. He's telling Wall Street, stop thinking of Tesla as a car company with margins. Start thinking of Tesla as an infrastructure company building the picks and shovels for an autonomous future. This reminds me exactly of what Jeff Bezos did in the early 2000s when he pivoted Amazon from we sell books to we're building infrastructure for commerce. Now, Elon is doing the same thing. He's saying the car business, that's just the training ground. The real business is autonomy, robotics, energy, and compute. Now, here's where it gets spicy. Elon announces live on the call that Tesla is discontinuing the Model S and Model X next quarter. He calls it an honorable discharge. Why? Because he's converting the Fremont factory space into an Optimus factory with the goal of producing 1 million humanoid robots per year in the same footprint. Let's pause. Most CEOs would bury this news in a press release. Elon just casually drops it in the middle of an earnings call. Yeah, we're killing 2 legacy products and replacing them with 1 million robots annually. No big deal. This is textbook Steve Jobs. When Jobs came back to Apple in 1997, he killed 70% of the product line. Everyone thought he was insane. But he said, we need to focus on what matters. Elon is doing the exact same thing. He's saying, the future is autonomous. The Model S and X were built for humans to drive. That era is over. The principle here: kill your legacy products before someone else does. Don't wait for the market to force your hand. Be the one who makes the hard call. Now, the third part, CapEx bomb. Vaibhav drops the number, over 20 billion in CapEx for 2026. That's more than double what they spent in 2024. Where is it going? He lists 6 factories starting production this year: lithium refinery, LFP battery, cybercab manufacturing, semi-truck production, new mega factory for energy storage, Optimus factory in Fremont, plus massive AI compute infrastructure, plus expansion on existing factories, plus the robo-taxi fleet. And that 20 billion doesn't even include the solar cell fab or the semiconductor fab Elon is planning. Now, most investors hear this and panic. Tesla's burning cash, but Elon frames it perfectly. He says, we're making big investments for an epic future. This is deliberate. We'll make sure capital is spent very efficiently, but these investments make a ton of strategic sense. This is exactly what Rockefeller did with Standard Oil. Everyone thought he was crazy for building his own pipelines, refineries, and distribution networks. But he understood that controlling the entire value chain was the only way to guarantee survival and dominate margins. Elon's running the same playbook. He's doing the same thing. He's saying, I don't trust external suppliers. I don't trust geopolitical stability. I'm going to own it all. Now, the fourth part, the robo-taxi rollout. Ashok, the FSD lead, reveals that Tesla is now running fully unsupervised robo-taxi rides in Austin. No safety driver, no chase car, nothing. Just autonomous vehicles picking up paying customers. Elon says they have over 500 vehicles operating between Austin and the Bay Area. And that number will double every month. Here's what most people miss. Tesla didn't wait for perfection. They've been running supervised robo-taxi rides for a year, learning the operational problems, charging logistics, service center strain, edge case traffic scenarios, so that when they flip to unsupervised, they're not starting from zero. This is Jeff Bezos' disagree and commit in action. Most autonomous vehicle companies are stuck in simulation hell, waiting for 99% safety before Elon launching. Elon said, we're going to launch carefully, learn in the real world, and iterate fast. Lars makes a key point. We're the only company capable of scaling at the rate of needed for the tsunami of autonomy that is coming. Why? Because Tesla already has the charging network, the service centers, and the fleet infrastructure. Every other autonomous vehicle startup has to build that from scratch. The principle? Infrastructure beats algorithms. You can have the best AI in the world, but if you can't charge your cars or service them at a scale, you are dead. Now here's the fifth part, which is the cyber cab economics. Elon drops a statistical bomb. 90% of vehicle miles traveled are with 1 or 2 passengers. This is why Cybercab is dedicated 2-seater with no steering wheels or pedals. It's optimized for minimum cost per mile. and a 50 to 60 hour per week duty cycle instead of the 10 hours per week a personal car is used. He says long term, we'll make several times more cybercabs per year than all our other vehicles combined. Think about what that means. Tesla is shifting from selling cars to selling transportation as a service. It's called TaaS, Transportation as a Service. The total addressable market isn't 90 million cars sold per year. It's trillions of miles driven per year. That is called first principles thinking. Now, this is the Netflix moment. Netflix didn't just sell DVDs. They said, we're selling entertainment as a service. Tesla is doing the same thing with mobility. Now, the sixth part, building a TerraPab. Here's where Elon's paranoia goes into overdrive. He says he's spending his Saturdays working on the A15 chip design because it's the most critical thing for Tesla's future. Then he drops this. I think Tesla needs to build a TerraPab, a very big fab that includes logic, memory, and packaging domestically. Why? Because even with supply deals from TSMC and Samsung, there are zero advanced memory fabs at scale in the United States. Zero. He says, if you factor the geopolitical uncertainty, we might not get the chips we're expecting. This is existential for Tesla. Optimus is completely useless without an AI chip. It's just a mannequin. We've got a solution for the next 3 years. But beyond that, we'll be supplier limited. Let me repeat that, okay? The key word is existential. Elon is not being hyperbolic. He's looked at Taiwan, South Korea, and China, and he's seen the vulnerability. If there's conflict in the Taiwan Strait, the global chip supply collapses overnight. And Tesla has millions of Optimus robots and autonomous vehicles that become paperweights without AI chips. This is vertical integration as a survival strategy. It's not about cost savings. It's about eliminating single points of failure. This is exactly what Howard Hughes did with Hughes Aircraft. He didn't trust external suppliers for avionics. He built his own division. Same reason. Now, part 7, the Optimus strategy. Elon lays out the 3 hardest problems in humanoid robotics. Building an incredible hand with the same dexterity as a human hand. Real-world AI that can learn by observing humans. Scaling production to millions of units. He says Tesla's the only company that actually has all 3 of these components. Then he reveals that Optimus Gen 3 will be unveiled in a few months. And it's so lifelike that people could be easily confused that it's a human. Why does this matter? Because that AI can learn from watching humans. If the robot looks and moves like a human, you can show it a task or even a video, and it will replicate it. This is fundamentally different from traditional industrial robots that need to be programmed line by line. The principle here? Designed for learning, not for programming. If your system can observe and adapt, it scales exponentially faster than a system that requires manual configuration. Now, next part, the China competition warning. George from Canaccord asked about humanoid robot competition. Elon's answer is blunt. By far the biggest competition for humanoid robots will be from China. China is incredibly good at scaling manufacturing and very good at AI. We don't see any significant competitors outside of China, but China will definitely be tough competition. People outside of China underestimate China. China's next level. This is Elon being intellectually honest. He's not dismissing the competition. He's saying we think Optimus will be more capable, but we're not delusional. China is coming hard. This reminds me of what Sam Walton used to do. He'd visit Kmart stores and say, look at what they're doing right. We need to be better. Elon's doing the same thing. He's not arrogant. He's paranoid and respectful of the competition. Now, this is the revenue model shift. Subscriptions over purchases. So, Viome reveals a major strategic shift. Starting this quarter, Tesla is transitioning fully to a subscription-based model for FSD, which is full self-driving. So previously, 70% of FSD customers paid up front. Now, net additions will primarily be subscriptions. Why does this matter? Because it changes the revenue recognition model. Instead of one-time $15,000 purchase, Tesla gets recurring monthly revenue. This is lower margin short term, but higher life value long term. It is a higher LTV. Now, this is Adobe's playbook. When they shifted from selling Photoshop for $700 to Creative Cloud for $50 a month, Wall Street panicked. But Adobe's valuation 10x because predictable recurring revenue is worth more than a lumpy one-time sales. It's like a software, recurring revenue. Elon is making the same bet. He's saying, I'd rather own the customer relationship over 10 years than get a one-time payment. Now, the XAI investment. Andrew from Morgan Stanley asked about the XAI investment. Elon's answer is fascinating. He says, Grok will be very helpful in maximizing the efficiency of managing a large autonomous fleet. If you got 10 million autonomous vehicles or tens of millions of Optimus robots, you need an orchestra conductor. Grok is that conductor. Think about what that means. Tesla isn't just building cars and robots. They're building a fleet management AI that coordinates millions of physical assets in real time. This is Amazon Web Service for the physical world. AWS orchestrates millions of servers. Grok will orchestrate millions of robots and vehicles. The principle? AI is not just for product features. AI is for operational efficiency at scale. Now, what is the desperation framework? Why Tesla builds everything? Well, Elon and Viome keep coming back to this phrase. We build these things out of necessity. It's not what we want. We have no choice. Elon literally begs on the call. Can someone else please, for the love of God, help? Why do we have to build lithium refineries and cathode refineries? Why can others not also build these things? But nobody is. So Tesla has to. This is the same energy as when Elon started SpaceX. He didn't want to build rockets. He wanted to buy them from Russia. But the Russians quoted him $20 million per rocket. And he realized they were ripping him off. So he came back and said, fine, I'll build my own rockets. The lesson? When the markets fail to provide what you need, you have two choices: complain or build it yourself. Elon always chooses to build. So here's what I wrote after reading and studying and observing and listening to this call many times. Elon Musk is not building a car company. He's building an operating system for the autonomous age. Every decision, killing Model S, X, spending $20 billion on CapEx, building the TerraPab, investing in XAI, is part of one coherent strategy. Own the entire stack so that no external dependency can kill you. This is just a smart business move. This is not empire building. This is survival strategy. Elon looked at the chessboard, saw supply chain fragility, geopolitical risk, and technological bottlenecks and said, if I don't control batteries, chips, AI, manufacturing, and energy, someone else will control my destiny. And the irony is that most CEOs will look at this plan and say, that's insane. Focus on one thing. But Elon learned from history. Remember, he loves to read biographies. He studied Rockefeller's vertical integration. He studied Ford River's Rouge plant. He studied Edison's invention factory. And he said the winners of the next 100 years will be the ones who control the entire value chain. So what's the takeaway for you and me? Okay. If you own a business, planning to start a business, or if you have a holdco, if you're an executive, if you're whatever it may be, okay, in 2026, ask yourself, what is the one external dependency that could kill my business? Is it a supplier? Is it regulation? Is it a platform? Is it a distribution channel? Is it AI? Now ask, what would it take to eliminate that dependency? Most people will say, that's too hard, that's too expensive, that's not my core competency. But Elon's framework is simple. If it's existential, you have no choice. He didn't want to build lithium refineries. He had to. He didn't want to build a TerraPab. He has to. He didn't want to design AI chips. He has to. The difference between Tesla and everyone else, Elon acts on the things he's paranoid about. Most CEOs just worry and hope it works out. Only the paranoid survive. And let me tell you, with Elon's final thought from the call, the future is more exciting than you can imagine. I'm going to say that again. The future is more exciting than you can imagine. That's not hype. That's a belief system. Elon genuinely believes that with enough vertical integration, enough paranoia, and enough maniacal execution, Tesla can build a future of amazing abundance where everyone has access to autonomous transportation, humanoid labor, cheap energy, and infinite compute. Is he right? I don't know. But don't bet against Elon. But I know this. He's the only CEO on the planet willing to bet $20 billion per year on that vision. That's how a life well lived. And if you enjoy this, subscribe, share on X. I made a video about Warren Buffett. I highly suggest if you enjoyed this video, I highly suggest that you watch that one. If you haven't already, hit the bell. See you next time. Peace.